Yeah, it's on. Okay. I'm a minute late. Sorry about that. And I don't know how this is coming in because Glenn is not he's not in my living room at the moment. So it's just me, my coffee, my dog is outside, and a story. Now, this was a story done probably about 3 weeks ago on WLTN. And as I posted, I believe I posted yesterday that I would be doing this today. And we tried to have it come on live on WLTN, but did not know the password. So I said that I would do this over again, and it really is a great story. And I'd like to thank Sharon Craigie once again, my chief researcher, at least through the newspapers. And she went to the Republic, which was the predecessor to the Littleton Courier. So this comes out of November 1867 from the Republic, the Littleton newspaper. So I'm going to read this and verbatim because I mean that's just the way it should be. So it says, counterfeit dies found. One day this week, a young son of J.J. Barrett, Esquire, of this town, set fire to a stump on land of his father's near the village, and it having burned away, he discovered in the earth at its roots a small tin can, tightly sealed, which was found to contain a quantity of counterfeit dyes, well preserved in oil. It had evidently remained there for some length of time. The dyes were well executed and for the purpose of making small American coins. So this opens up a bee's nest of drama for Littleton. So I did a little bit of research on J.J. Barrett. J.J. Barrett was an insurance agent. He was born in 1823 in Bethlehem, New Hampshire. 3 children, 2 boys, 1 girl. The youngest boy was Allien, A-L-L-I-E-N, who was born in 1857. Now, an interesting piece I did, as I can't leave things unturned. I went to the Glenwood Cemetery, found out where J.J. and his family are buried. And when I saw it, it just, I got all excited. The person I was with ended up getting a history lesson. So we figured that it was Allien who found the coins, the counterfeit dyes. Still looking for the land, but looking at a map, Sharon Craigie looked at the 1860 Littleton map, and J.J. Barrett had property on South Street, which is off of Cottage Street. I looked up 1887. He also owned property on Cottage Street at the corner of Grove and Cottage. Actually owned, looked like 2 or 3 house lots, or actually maybe 2 or 3 buildings there. You'll have to pardon me this morning. I've been to the dentist and my Novocaine is still wearing off. So J.J. Barrett died in 1886 at the age of 63. Pardon me, the sun's gone in. I must turn on a light. Thank you. So there's still no clue where the counterfeit dyes came from. My understanding, looking up J.J. Barrett, other than being an insurance agent, he knew how to operate his money. He was a landowner, and came across a couple of places where Barrett, sold, property transfers took place. Now, part of my thoughts is, since these were counterfeit coins, and the can was entangled in the roots of a tree. Must have been a pretty good sized tree. Back then, if they could pull a stump, they would, but most of the time they would burn it, then have to dig up chunks of it. All right, so my idea is that probably that tree may have been 20 or 30 years old. We don't know the type of tree it was. It had to be about 20 or 30 years old. So this would take us back to the 1840s or 1830s. when the counterfeit coins were buried there. So that's only a guess on mine. We still haven't come up with anything else. 1830's or 1840's. Still very curious. All right? And it is safe to assume that J.J. was a man of financial means, because he had the spare time to volunteer for numerous positions in the town and the state. He was a selectman, town treasurer, town clerk, moderator, representative, state senator. Now remember, state senator, you have to go to Concord for this. Now Concord is, what, about 90 miles south of Littleton. Roads were not that good, so the man had to travel by train to Concord. He was on the school board, a notary public, and a justice of the peace. So in order to be able to do all of that community service, he would have to have the money to do it, the financial means to do it. Well, Sharon didn't let us down. She sent another newspaper article, March 1868. So we have maybe 5 months, 5 months later. Here's the article. Counterfeit. On Friday morning last week, D.E. Thayer, Esquire, a merchant of this village, found in his barn a quantity of counterfeit money, amounting to about $50. There were 4 $5 bills on a Montpelier, Vermont bank, and $2 bills on a Maine bank, and the remainder in coin. We have examined several pieces and find them to be very well executed, though apparently somewhat worn. It is said the gold, and gold is in quotation marks, dollar pieces just fit the dies found last December on the premises of J.J. Barrett, connection, and of which an account was given in the Republic at that time. This discovery confirms the impression that at some time Littleton has been the headquarters of a gang of counterfeiters, the extent of whose operations will never be definitely known. Exciting. I mean, come on, call out the FBI. Well, of course, we didn't have the FBI at the time. So, let's take a look at these names. D.E. Thayer, Daniel Elliott Thayer, born 1815 in Keene, died 1890 in Littleton. He was a merchant. There is a connection with the Thayer's Hotel. Many of you watching understand and know that we have a hotel called the Thayer's Hotel. Well, his younger brother, Henry L. Thayer, built the hotel and opened it on Main Street. He is listed as a merchant and a hotel keeper. Oh, by the way, the Thayer's Hotel at this time was not the Thayer's Hotel. It was the White Mountain House. Okay? Now, it says here that there were printed bills from Montpelier, Vermont, and a Maine bank. Now, being a history teacher, I remember teaching pre-Civil War American history. Banks used to print their own money. We did have some federal money, but banks printed their own. So you would have a bank in Montpelier, Vermont printing its own money. You would have a bank in Maine printing its own money. You had Boston banks, Concord, New Hampshire banks printing their own money. Okay? So when the United States started, we actually, we had 13 states. We had 13 different types of money out there. So it was almost like taking a trip to Europe. So what is the exchange rate between a euro and an American dollar? So, or going to Thailand, what is the exchange rate between, a baht and an American dollar? All right? So, I thought that I would bring that up. Let's see, due to the variety, another thing too that I came up with is due to the variety of money, of paper dollars very easy to counterfeit. Now you take a look at our paper money, it's still counterfeited, but much more difficult, far more difficult. The paper is different. Back then, there wasn't a standardization for the paper that it was printed on. So Maine used a different type, Vermont used a different type, New Hampshire used a different type. So people could actually get away with this. All right? And what really gets me is that Littleton, New Hampshire was the headquarters for a counterfeiting ring in the 1830's and 1840's. I mean, high crimes and misdemeanors. Actually, right now, I mean, it's a federal crime. Okay? Now, to counterfeit a coin, and it said the gold coin, all right, they would most likely use a cheap metal, most likely lead, and then it would be plated with gold. So you could have a $50 gold piece that was probably worth, in gold, 50 cents to $1. So they would take that to a store, spend it just like with a fake $100 bill, a counterfeit $100 bill today. People would take it to the store, they would cash it, use it to purchase something. But have you ever noticed when you go to do grocery shopping, or any type of shopping for that matter, if you use a $50 bill or a $100 bill, they have this special pen that they run across it. That's why, to check for counterfeiting. Pardon me. Okay, so the perpetrators would have to use a very small, they had to have real gold, but probably with $50 worth of gold, they could probably produce hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars worth of counterfeit gold coins. Isn't that the most exciting thing? So, I had to share that with you because I know it did not come out on the radio, on this program, on the radio. I will also put this on the museum YouTube channel. We do have a YouTube channel. Pardon me, it's still, the lowercase still there. So check us out. And I did publish it. I did put a post on our museum Facebook page so people can click on it and go to the YouTube channel. So listen, have a wonderful day. And as you can probably peek through the window, it's the sun came back out. And stay safe and catch the museum again.